Heylow here, bringing you another 1v1 matchup in Total War Warhammer 2 online. So today I will be playing the Dark Elves, switching it up a bit, trying to learn a new faction, and we are going to be doing a matchup against the Dwarves. So let's jump right in. Alright, so my build today, I was testing out a new kind of like anti-dwarf specific formation. So my front line is going to be Dark Shards with shields, and they are going to be supporting 2 Reaper Bolt Throwers, and my back line is going to be 3 Harganeth Executioners and the Blades of the Blood Queen. And then I'm going to have Malekith on a cold one here. So pretty elite army, but my flanks out here are also going to be supported by some Dark Riders with repeater crossbows. And then my opponent here is going to be rocking his dwarves. He's going to have 2 cannons over here. He's going to have 2 units of troll hammer torpedoes on his iron drakes. He's going to have a back group of giant slayers, whole front line of miners with blasting charges, dwarf warriors, and some quarrelers in the rear. He's going to have the lion supported with a runesmith, as well as rocking a standard lord. And my build here was specifically meant to kind of target this exact kind of dwarf lineup where he's going to have his artillery, a lot of skirmishers, and just kind of a beefy front line. So we're going to see how it goes today. We're going to see if we can pull off a kind of out-skirmishing build against the dwarves. So let's jump in. Alright, so with the deployment, we're immediately going to line up on the cannons. I went straight for the line of the deployment zone because I want my Reaper Bolt Throwers right away targeting all these artillery pieces. And Reaper Bolt Thrower is going to do really, really good work against the Dwarf Artillery. So the idea here is to kind of punish Dwarves for going for that standard like defensive build where it's a lot of artillery, a lot of skirmishers, and then just a solid front line to just kind of slow you down while they outshoot you. So it's working really great. You can see artillery pieces just getting dropped right here by the Reaper Bolt Throwers. So the idea is that instead of going to the Dwarves like you end up doing in most cases, we're going to force him to come to us. So he's losing the artillery battle, he's pushing up, he's going to just start advancing all of his troops. And we're going to have our Dark Riders out here just kind of waiting. I don't want to push in too close yet because I don't want him to start turning and shooting my cavalry off. I'm just kind of setting up a trap. Get my skirmishers up here, start dropping some shots. You can see here my cannons, or his cannons getting blown away. My troops start dropping some good rounds in, the armor piercing. So I brought shields because I wanted to out-skirmish quarrelers or thunderers. And then I bring my cav in over here, and I'm going to go after these juicy iron drakes, try and stop them from getting into my lines. So you can see he's getting some good shots here in my Reaper Bolt Thrower, but they're doing their job. They're going to tie up the rest of the cannons. So dropping my shots, baiting him in, and then I'm going to start pushing my Harganeth up as his infantry closes the gap because it's going to start to get in with this artillery that I've got here. So skirmishing back, I'm going to switch out my lines, so I'm going to pull my Dark Shards back so they don't get caught up in combat, and I'm going to start charging in, and his miners aren't really going to get a good throw off. I'm going to be super close on this gap here because he was chasing after my Dark Shards. So close that gap, they don't even get their blasting charges off. Malekith's going to jump in, pull the Dark Shards back, and now I'm going to just start kind of just dropping some rounds in here and there. Use a little bit of magic, just kind of pick them apart here and there. But yeah, these Iron Drakes out here getting shot to pieces by Dark Riders. And the Dark Shards with their shields, really, really good. Silver shields, so they have a very, very high block chance here. 55% of the shots aren't going to go through. So they're just literally here to counter skirmish, let me do some good damage on his front line or his skirmishers. So the Executioner's doing really great work. My artillery kind of just tying up and shutting down his cannons, so they're not really getting a good chance to do real good damage here. And then I'm going to pull up the Blades of the Blood Queen. But yeah, the Troll Hammers over here just getting pinched, trying to take out my cavalry. And I'm just going to take that engagement because, yeah, they're going to do a lot of damage here, but their numbers are already pretty much getting rinsed here. They're going to be combat ineffective for the rest of the game, getting shot in the back by some Dark Shards and such, just getting totally picked apart. Front line here, we're going to have the Blades of the Blood Queen get into these weak miners, and they're just going to tear them totally tear them apart. So yeah, just kind of pulling in here, getting my elite infantry in, just rinsing everything to pieces. We're going to go for that flank now that all of his forces are engaged. And these reserve Harganeth are going to get in and just start tearing them up. Malekith in here on his little dino doodad, just slamming through the dwarves. You can see his infantry is supported by his own ranged component. But yeah, at this point, I'm winning the infantry engagement. My Dark Shards are here with plenty of ammo. I'm going to start counter skirmishing pretty shortly here. But yeah, Blades of the Blood Queen making short work. They're on pretty much full health. Just going to start moving them up. But yeah, all of these Dark Shards coming back in. Dark Riders ended up taking out these Iron Drakes. And we're just kind of getting a little duel here. His Lord's chasing Malekith around. I'm going to pull Malekith out just because I don't want to lose him to any focused fire or anything like that. So we're going to start tying up the Dwarf Lord with some Executioners, bait him in. We're going to have the Runesmith out here getting in with the Blades of Blood Queen. And that's not going to be a good fight for him. You can see. Trying to take this out. Ooh. Awesome animations. I love this game. But yeah, I'm just using all the magic I can to just drop a lot of his troops, do a good amount of damage. His skirmishers out here blowing through most of his ammo. Still got Dark Shards supporting, some Hargoneth left. But yeah, he's going to end up losing a lot of units to routing, things like that. Just shatters. A good match, but it definitely showcases how you can kind of counterplay dwarves really heavily. That's one thing I wanted to talk about is with dwarves and just armies in general, you don't want to play too hard into like your stereotypical builds because he brings the cannons, he brings a lot of skirmishers, and they just really didn't do a ton of work. This unit got 31 kills. The torpedo is doing good damage, but it was against my Dark Riders with repeated crossbows, which I was totally okay making that trade because the cost is way in my favor in the 2-2 there. So yeah, Dwarf Warriors doing okay. They're just going to hold, but I was really able to counter pick because I planned for this stereotypical artillery with skirmisher build. And that's something you want to keep in mind when you're playing a faction that has like a very strong strength in one department, is that chances are your opponent's going to plan for that. So unless they don't, which I don't see why they wouldn't, you're probably not going to get that perfect engagement you're looking for in like higher level play. So switch it up. Like you could have got rid of these cannons. You could have gone for some what do they call gyrocopters. Maybe get a little more heavy on the infantry line and play a little aggressively. But yeah, it's just showcasing how you can counterpick opponents if you know what their faction is good at, what they're bad at, and they're not willing to switch it up too much. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're building your armies. Try something a little unorthodox. You might throw your opponent off. It might give you the edge in something that you normally wouldn't have. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Like, subscribe, hit the little bell for some notifications. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And that'll be it. I'll see you next time.